It's time for another Eric Street update, and we're here over the weekend of the 4th and 5th of February. Now, this fenced off area to our left here, nothing has changed since I was here last week, and I suspect this is still fenced off even though it's complete because they don't want people exiting down at the traffic lights. So although it looks like it's completely rideable, it hasn't been surfaced over the top yet, so it hasn't been finished. But this area here, interestingly, is open now. Now, what I meant by hasn't been finished or surfaced is, yes, this is rideable, but the plans call for this to be covered in red concrete when it's finished. So at the moment it's black tarmac, and that's what I mean by, I think you could ride through there quite happily on any sort of bike on the black asphalt, but I don't think they want you to. And look, I haven't revisited the latest plans to see if they're still sticking with this idea of using red concrete through here, but clearly you can see on this little section here, no issues whatsoever riding through it. Now, last weekend, there were cones here, and they've taken them away for some reason. Now, up the hill here, exactly the same kind of situation, but they've still got cones here. So they don't want, it's kind of a mixed bag as to where you can ride and can't ride.
Now this part here, I thought initially this gradient here was a bit too much, just like that. But I rode up it yesterday and it's fine. Now what I did is I rode down that side street there and came up the footpath, and again it's quite a steep gradient coming up the path there to where that yellow hoop is. In fact, it's probably steeper over there than this bit here. Look, I didn't have any trouble as long as I selected a low gear to start with, but my worry is people ride off here and then ride down and might not stop in time and end up out here on the road, because it is kind of one of those gradients. I guess we'll see how it works out in operation.
And yes, here's me giving it a test run, and this uphill slope is fairly steep. In fact, this whole street is a bit of a struggle, but you just stick it in a low gear and off you go. But look, the only issue here is, I guess, for young cyclists or really old cyclists or people that don't have a lot of strength in their legs, that could be a bit of a struggle. Now, this just shows the area of the street where they're currently digging it up and getting the foundations ready. You can see there they've dug down and they've left a significant gap there. I guess you could get in there if you're driving a four-wheel drive, but that driveway, bare dirt, no one's going in there. So it just shows the kind of inconvenience that these residents are having to put up with whilst this work's underway. Now, remember, last weekend when I came through, none of this had been dug up. So maybe Monday to Friday, these people have had their driveways dug up, and we're now just going to have to wait and see how quickly the builders can finish the foundations, lay down this stuff, crush stuff, and roll it. Now you can see there's a nice big pile of whatever they're using as the road base there, and they get it out, roll it, lay it down. And this section along here last week was a mess, but now you can see they've completely flattened it, rolled it. This stuff is like concrete after it's been wet and rolled a few times. Quite easy to drive across. Obviously it'll wear over time, but it's pretty solid. So hopefully by the time I go back next weekend, what we'll be looking at over there will be nice, smooth, flattened, rolled base material, and the residents are going to be able to drive in and out until such time as they come along and lay down the tar layer and then presumably top it off with red concrete. So we'll just keep an eye on it over the next month and see how things go.